Hello, everyone. So great and so glad to be back on another episode of The Citizen on Dove Television. I am Mike Adekunle, and we want to say that, well, it's only God that can help us, really. And I think we are on the path to which God of heaven has started helping us in this nation. And the bottom line is, if you are praying for Nigeria, please keep praying. If you are at the aims of government, or you are taking decisions, you are at the parliament or wherever you may be, or you are a citizen, whatever it is that you are doing for the good of Nigeria, please do not give up. Continue doing what you are doing, because all of these definitely one day will accumulate to the fact that Nigeria will see a brighter day, because it's getting better for this nation, and we will get there. My message to you right now will be that please do not let us give up. And in not giving up, this program over time had come up to challenge individuals, even as citizens, to ensure that we are not just sitting down, we are doing one thing or the other as to see that it betters for this nation. And one of the citizens who had risen up to do something is my guest this day. And he had come up with an idea to say that, okay, the way Nigerian is, I think when we come together as one, it will be better for us. And one of the things that can unify us as a nation is our language. So I will not say more. He's here with me, and he will be the one that will be telling us more about what he has come up with as a proposal to what we can do to better unify us as a nation. I have with me a concerned citizen and an author, and he is Mr. Olutola Oguntoyinbo. Good to have you, Mr. Oguntoyinbo.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we really appreciate you, and personally, I thank you for what you are doing, because over time on this program, we have always been mentioning it that people should not just sit down. Everybody at their own corners should just do something.
Oh, yes.
You know, whoever you may be, a child. And of course, I need to also let you know that after him, I'll be bringing a young guy on this very show today. You know, it's a duty for every one of us. We must not just sit down.
Yes.
Whoever you may be,
yes,
we must not just sit down. We must rise to ensure that it gets better for this nation.
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Oguntoyinbo, you have come up with a proposal on language, using language as a tool to unify Nigeria. Because one of the major challenges we are facing as a country is language barriers. In Nigeria, as it stands today, we have three major dominant languages that we have been polarized along that language barriers in a way. So what do you have to say as what you have come up with to see how we can mend this gap and polarization?
Thank you so much, sir. Once again, thanks for having me on the show. It's actually a concern, for every well-meaning Nigerian. When we have a country, and then if you've been a Nigerian, you don't feel, you don't belong. Whenever time maybe you travel to the far east or to the far north, for example, traveling to Kano, for instance, and then I would want to relate with, the citizens right there. I'm only limited to communicate in lingua franca. That's
that's English.
Exactly, the English that we use generally. And the shortcoming of this is that there are some Nigerians that cannot really communicate in English. For instance, there was a bike man actually, stopped yesterday, and I was about going somewhere. I realized he couldn't communicate in English. And he was speaking Hausa to me, and it dawned on me.
You cannot speak in Hausa?
I can't communicate in Hausa. So that's a great barrier to our national unity. So you can see the angle from which this discussion is coming from. So, and it will be the best for our nation, for our government, to realize this and to act very quickly so that we can have this bringing about it.
Okay, so what are you proposing to start with? There are countries, I think you cited
Yes,
Switzerland.
Switzerland, yes.
Yes. Now,
Yes.
what are you proposing that is workable for Nigeria? Because I believe governing Nigeria, we must go by what is workable for us. We are not, I'm not really a fan of we copying what they are doing maybe in another country. You get what I'm trying to say?
Right.
We must sit down and look into our peculiarity as a people and see what is obtainable and what is workable for us.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes,
so
sir.
what do you think is workable that we can achieve as regarding unifying us in lines of language?
Oh, thank you so much, sir. Actually, that's why I picked an example that will work better for our nation, and that's Switzerland. Looking at it, Nigeria has, 3 major national languages. Although Nigeria has over 500 languages being spoken, we have dialects. Just like I'm from Ondo State.
Okay.
So, and right from in Ondo State, we have, numerous dialects in Ondo State. I'm from the Akoko side. My wife is from the largest side.
Okay.
Even when they speak their own dialect, it's different from our own dialect. So you understand when we come into such a situation in the nation. However, we can't dispute the fact that there are still 3 major, widely spoken languages in this country. And these are the Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo. Yes. So I believe that if an average person, just like we have in Switzerland, they have 4 major national languages. We have the German, we have the Italian, we have the French, and then we have the Romansh. Although a little percentage of the Swiss speak Romansh, but largely, we have their citizens, their nationalists, they, speak German, French, and Italian. So it's something that if a Swiss government, if the Swiss government can come about, enacting some policies to favor their national unity, because you realize that they have also regions over there, that these languages would be their own core cultural way of communication.
Okay.
Yes, so if they could bring about an educational scheme or structure that can enable an average citizen of Switzerland to speak at least 2 national languages. At least, that's talking about at least.
Okay, averagely,
yes,
an individual
yes,
in Switzerland should be able to speak
at least
either German
or French. And French, yeah.
Okay.
Because from statistics, we have it that 70% of Switzerland citizens are able to speak at least 2 fluently of their national languages.
Okay.
And that we don't have in Nigeria. Because from statistics, we have in Nigeria that even, let me say, 20% from the study, 20% of Nigerians can actually communicate in 2 languages, our national languages.
But what do you say? What do you say of English language in Nigeria? The government, they've adopted lingua franca to say, okay, this is our language.
Yes.
So why not go by the way of English language?
Thank you so much, sir.
Why should we go, dialectical or regional?
We can't, deny the fact that we have our cultural heritage. And every culture is characterized, with language. When you get to a culture, the major means of even of passing down the values from generation to generation is by language. So if we would adopt the Englishman's language, thank God for the civilization and all that has come to play. Yeah. Thank God, because it's also what has made us developed in this part of the world. However, we must not deny the fact that these national languages are still very key in bringing about our desired unity in Nigeria. Yeah, because whenever time perhaps you want to you are traveling, not everybody is educated. Just like I gave an example of an Hausa man who doesn't speak English, and some people may decide even in this part of the world that they don't really want to go for education, especially in the part, and it will be like we are actually sectioning these ones from
Out of.
exactly out of the nation of our country.
That is, as an individual in Nigeria, as a Nigerian, wherever you get to, you should be able to communicate and flow well.
Communicate, exactly. That should
Now,
be.
you being an Ondo man who speaks Yoruba,
Yes, of course.
getting to Sokoto, you should be able to relate. You should be able to speak Hausa.
The fellow Nigerian.
An Hausa man who had come from Kaduna or Kano
Yes, sir.
to Lagos
Yes,
should be able to communicate.
And
And that will really help our commercial activities or economic activities.
Thank you,
You
sir.
know, just as you illustrated the bike man.
Exactly.
And all that. It's a good one. It's a good one. But how do you think our government can go about this?
Oh, thank you. Because this, has been one of the things that I've, pondered on and thought about, that Nigeria really needs to come to a place that we need to acknowledge that the national unity is key for our progress. And just like you've mentioned, commercial activities actually, also boil down. Let me please mention a point, because I was reading through and then I realized that this multilingual scheme structure in Switzerland, really they came out to actually acknowledge that about 10% of their GDP, has been favored by their multilingual structure. Because looking at the commercial settings, we could have had better, commerce, settings in this nation. We have had better business connections and all that if we had, a connection via language. Yes. But this can't be so because there have been diversities, in our language
And I
structures.
think I've experienced it before, that you being able to speak a certain language at some certain settings, connects you to a certain favor or the other. For instance, if you are, I don't know, maybe some of those who are watching us can relate, in some cases, speaking language are delivered from danger, even at one point or the other.
Oh, yes.
Especially those who had lived before in the northern part of the country, maybe in times of riot or what have you. And you are able to speak in a certain language. They say, oh, this one is part of us. Let us leave him. And for me, I've once lived in a particular state in Nigeria that while I was there, I learned their language, a dialect. I learned their language in a way that.
Very good.
So whenever I'm with them and I was able to relate with them in their language, greeting them and all that,
you gain favor.
The kind of acceptance I received, the kind of favor, the kind of acceptance and the reception that I received from, just for the fact that I could speak in their language. And I've come to agree with you that if that can happen on a, on a primary level, it can as well build up to a national, unity. You get what I'm trying to say now? And of course, Daddy Gio one time was preaching and he mentioned about colonialism. He preached on colonialism.
Exactly. I was about getting there.
Okay, maybe I should leave that for you then.
Because this language structure, just like you said, that we have English as a means of communication in Nigeria, and you realize that although colonization came, just to better our ways of life, we can't deny that fact. However, when a man, the British brought their language to us, colonizing us and giving us a language, it's a good thing. We have an international, privilege of going beyond the border of this country, to relate, international relations. It's been made possible. However, we must not deny the fact that every nation, every country has the duty to preserve their natural heritage. Yes, their national heritage, and that's their cultural heritage.
You are even talking about national level right now, even family levels. Do you know there are some families right now that they don't teach their children their basic languages?
Exactly.
You get to some homes right now, they don't speak their dialects to their children. You get what I'm trying to say now?
Yeah.
So a father who is an Igbo who gave birth and say, no, I'm not going to speak Igbo to my child. It will be English. What is going to happen to that child, you know?
You see, because that child, when that child goes out of the family,
Yes.
you know, and about to start relating with people, you know, in the society, he feels cut out in one way or the other. Yeah, because I'm privileged to see quite a number of people, you know, quite a number of children that find it hard to communicate in their mother tongue.
In their mother tongue.
Yes, you know, you hear the name, what's your name? They say the name.
It's a Yoruba name
it's a
or
Yoruba
Igbo name,
or
but they
Igbo
are
name.
unable to speak.
To speak that very dialect. Even some can't understand fully. No, you know, there's abilities for you to speak. There's another ability for one to understand.
I think what people need to know is the fact that there is great strength in language.
In language,
People
sir.
need to value that. Language is very, very important.
Yes, sir.
It's very important.
Yes, sir.
Daddy Joe said those whites that came to colonize us, the first thing they did for us was to attack our language. They took our language and gave us their own.
Yeah.
Holy Spirit or God, when you gave your life to Christ, you know, same thing also happens,
Yes,
you know, change
yes,
your tongue and all
exactly.
that. And to our children, you are able to tame your children if you are able to train them in line of your language.
Yes, sir. Yes,
you are
sir.
able to tame them.
Yes, sir.
My child or any little child, English we say don't prostrate, you just handshake. But my culture or my language, you say no, you have to prostrate to greet and English man will say, oh, you are getting your fingers dirty, you are getting your hands dirty. No, you have to prostrate to greet.
Yeah.
That is respect in my culture, and that we must imbibe in all our children.
Yeah.
We must not so much advance and forget.
We must not sell off our heritage.
So
Yeah.
let's move ahead.
Okay.
In part of your recommendation, you mentioned you know, formulation of curriculum.
Okay.
You know, so how do you think government can go about this? Because as it is right now, the curriculum, the major curriculum in Nigeria mandates English. Mandates, you know, English as the primary medium of instruction from basic to tertiary level,
Yes.
with a focus on proficiency in reading, writing, listening, and speaking.
Yeah.
So it requires that every child in any school in Nigeria is able to communicate in English. So
Yeah.
at what point do we now bring in, and also it's also added that one major Nigerian language should be added, either Hausa, Igbo or Yoruba, alongside this English
Exactly.
in all
Alongside
schools
the-
in Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
And of course, if you are the western part of Nigeria, you want to include Yoruba.
Yeah.
If you are the northern part, you want to include Hausa. Eastern part, you want to include Igbo.
Yeah.
But
And not-
how
and
do we
not-
now come up with?
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Because that aspect is very much important. Education.
Yeah.
No, education is so key for national development that our government are not paying much attention to education as we expect them to. You know, because looking at this, you know, the change of curriculum, the curriculum reform, as it were, is something that has to be, you know, invested in by the government.
Yes.
Yeah, because everything, you know, every project has to have resources actually vetting it.
Allotted,
Yeah.
yes.
So one expects, you know, the government to be willing to do this. No, this is not actually a new debate. You know, this is not something new because it has always been said all along the years about the need for multilingual education and fostering national unity and educational outcomes. However, we have come to a stage that even in Nigeria now, that the insecurities and all that are actually, you know, it has caused, you know, a kind of a barrier, as it were, between the regions. For example, if I would want my child to go for service, I would want him or her to be within the Southwest because of the hostility and all that we hear of in the North. So it's something that is actually general in our time now, and that's why the need for this reform is so much important. The need for enacting this policy it has really become urgent.
So government should move further, or those in charge of curriculum, that is the
National Education Research and Development Council.
So they should go beyond English language and one
other national language. Yeah, and it's not only about
probably rather than making it one, they should now make it the 3.
They can make it 2 to start with. Yes, because looking at this, we have it that in the regions, in the various regions in Nigeria, we have our own regional languages, as it were. In Southwest, for an instance, we have the Yoruba language. In the northern part, we have widely spoken, Hausa is widely spoken there. Yes. And then in the eastern part of Nigeria, southern part, we have Hebrew widely spoken. So to start with, this multilingual, I beg your pardon, multilingual educational structure, it's not about focusing on the regional languages that have been spoken of itself. That's one thing, actually. Starting the education of the children with the dominant language in that region. For instance, we operate the 633 educational structure in Nigeria. Yes. For instance, from the primary school, there's the government, work with these bodies that can be able to help in bringing about a curriculum that will develop materials in, for instance, when Yoruba region, develop materials in Yoruba language, and then start with such, educating these children right from maybe their primary 1, primary 2, making sure that it will be a kind of a peer, a multilingual, it's going to be a peer language instruction. It's not just based on the Yoruba alone.
Like when they develop a material in Yoruba, there should be an interpretation of such material in another language, maybe in Igbo or Hausa.
No, there had been a material already in English.
Yes.
So we can just bring about the translation of such in Yoruba language in the regional part of Nigeria. Yes. In the eastern part, they can bring about a translation of their materials at the elementary level, to Igbo. So just like, for instance, in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, our Sunday school department, Christian education department, thank God for them. We have the Sunday school manuals, we have the associate manuals, even up to Open Heavens.
Yes, and they designed those things in different languages.
Thank you, sir. So this is going to be really helpful for starting up with the children's education.
Okay.
Yes.
I wish maybe one of our parliamentarians and those who are representing us at the House of Assemblies or at the Senate will be able to pick up this policy for sponsorship to say, okay, let us come to unify our nation in the area of languages. Like you proposed there, number 1, curriculum reform, teacher training and recruitment, multilingual pilot schools, learning materials development, community engagement, incorporate languages into professional lives and all that, institutional support and all, because even trying to educate Nigerians right now by ONA, are they ONA now? National Orientation Agency. They will have to put up their informations in different languages, to make sure that everybody, comes to terms. So I want to thank you so much, Mr. Olutola Ogutoyinbo. I want to thank you for this wonderful and laudable initiative you have come up with to ensure that our nation can be better unified along the lines of our languages. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure, sir. It's a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'd like you to still stay with us. I will be bringing up another young individual, a very young citizen, who is a national development advocate, and he will be telling us again on what we need to do or know as regarding nation building. I'd like you to stay with us. We shall be back. Are you ready for a change? As one of the most beloved TV shows is undergoing a thrilling transformation, welcome to a platform for a robust, inspiring, and engaging conversation in the world of politics and governance, business, education, and more. and concerning you as a citizen and your civic responsibilities. Watch The Citizen on Dove Television at 1 p.m. every Tuesday, West African time, and a repeat broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. The Citizen, we are all in this together. I welcome you back to The Citizen, and we've been looking at national development in relation to language, and earlier I was with Mr. Olutola Oguntoyinbo, who came up with the mindset or with a proposed policy that if Nigerians and Nigeria can adopt a system whereby all our citizens can learn at least 2 or 3 languages that are predominant, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, in a way of dealing, I think we further unify us as a nation. If I go to the northern part of Nigeria where they speak Hausa predominantly, I should be able to get there and also relate well in Hausa, not minding whether I'm a Yoruba or Igbo. And if I get to the east, I should be able to speak, not minding whether I am Yoruba or Hausa. So he came up with that. And right now, I am with Omolayo, right? Yeah, Omolayo Abiola Samuel, who is a national development advocate, also concerned about nation building. So what I just said right now, from the perspective of Mr. Oguntoyinbo, so what's your take on language as a tool for unification in Nigeria, as something that can possibly unite us better in Nigeria?
So what Mr. Oguntoyinbo said is very, very profound, something I really, really resonate with. But the fact that it's true that if we can actually all learn each other's language, it will help us. Then, but there's another side to it. The flip of the coin is that already we have an established nation. Okay. We have diverse culture, diverse, we are diverse, we're very heterogeneous in nature, meaning that we have different cultures already. So if we say we should learn each other's language, number one, it's not easy as it sounds. Then, of course, I believe strongly one of the biggest problems we have in Nigeria is the fact that we are too indigenized, such that there's a level of indigenization. There's no national identity. Because for there to be patriotism at a level, for there to be commitment to nation building, there people identify with their nation, there must be this level of, I am a Nigerian. So, and automatically, by the time we're breaking down, learn this language, it's already bringing the fact that, oh, we are different already. So, in my own opinion, I would think my own thought on it would be, let us simply have the corporate, like Nigeria, the English you have. The problems we have in Nigeria is, personally for me, we need to bring a national identity that transcends language. Language is a very critical part of it, but I feel like there are many other things we can do outside of language that could actually bring us to have a common identity. Having a common identity, a common heritage, a common history brings us to those that I'm a Nigerian. And I'm saying that because you see that one of the biggest problems that even our politicians have weaponized against us is tribalism. Also, although learning those languages might seem they can learn English, and even some Yoruba don't even understand Yoruba yet. So, in as much as possible, we even need to even bring down, okay, that mindset of I'm Yoruba, I'm Igbo, I'm Hausa, I'm heightening the national consciousness in us that before I'm Yoruba, I'm first a Nigerian. Before I'm Igbo, I'm first a Nigerian. Before I'm Hausa, of course. So with that, that's just my thought on that, basically, sir.
And don't you think that also could be something our leaders are using, not to only divide us, but to equip themselves? Because, for instance, if a Yoruba man becomes a president, he will want to appoint Yoruba-speaking people in his cabinet first before considering any other tribe, all for loyalty and for safety of his office.
So I think on that, it is because, as I said earlier, we don't have a national identity yet. So I was having a conversation with a senior, and he was telling me that in the United States, someone from a particular state, a mother that gave birth to 2 children, she can rule this state and go and rule another state. It doesn't happen in Nigeria. You can't necessarily say you're from Ogun State, but you have siblings from Ogun State that you want to go and rule in, maybe Lagos, you want to go and rule in Abia State. It doesn't work like that in Nigeria. And that is why I said earlier that the problem is not even first tribalism. The problem is that the reason why tribalism is a problem is because there is no national identity. There is no national consciousness. There is no there is nothing that much, there's nothing that deep that makes you have a conviction of, I'm a Nigerian and I'm committed to Nigeria. Such that what we want to instill in people is beyond tribalism, beyond the language that you speak, but you have a commitment to Nigeria as a nation. You have a commitment to us as a people.
What do you think our government should start doing to ensure that we see Nigeria as an entity that we all are allegiance to?
Okay, I think from that place, I think it would then start with, like never before, talking about our history. Then
because, sorry to cut in, a whole lot happened in the 2023 elections.
Okay.
That, especially taking Lagos State as an instance, we have seen where people were telling some parts of, of citizens in Lagos to say, no, you can't vote here because you are not a Yoruba person. You are not from Lagos. It was during that election we started hearing a whole lot of history, of, okay, you are not part of us, you are from this place, you are from that place. Should that be the narrative actually in the first place?
And that drives home the first point again, that I don't think Nigeria has probably, we have not taken our time to sit down and think about it. I was asking myself one day, what makes us Nigerians? Is it just because some people came during after colonization and said, okay, this group of people, let's draw a line and divide them and say they are Nigerians at the end of the day? Or is it just because, or are we Africans because some people drew the map and say they are black? What makes us Nigeria? I think that is the first question that must be asked. In this station, one of the very few things that still brings us together is probably the sports, the Super Eagles and all of that. So it's a question of identity that the government must ask, that Nigerians must ask themselves. That it is at the very core of national development, because if it is not addressed, we would just say we are Nigerians, but if they ask you what so for instance, there are many things that can come up with it. So there's such a thing in America called the American dream. Every American recites it. God bless America. So those things, it is an intentional design by the government, by the institutions to drive a consciousness of, I am loyal to this institution. I'm loyal to this nation. It means that the government was intentional about things like, because I think that's why we have things like national anthems, national pledge, but they need to be more intentional about it to drive home a national, I think, identity, basically.
With what you have been seeing so far, do you think our leaders are actually intentional about this?
They've not been intentional enough about it. They've not been intentional.
You are a Gen Z, right?
Yes, sir.
And what is your pain? What do you think it's your pain and the pain of citizens in your category as looking at Nigeria and the path at which we are going right now?
For me, it's a big concern.
Like when you gather as Gen Zs, your peers, when you gather to talk about Nigeria, what do you talk about?
What do we talk about? Firstly, I think if there's anything we first talk about as Gen Zs when it comes to national development, is the very core of it. Firstly is economy. And it's so concerning for us. It's so concerning for us because in the past generation, we've seen that it's not that people did not work. Yeah. So they put all their effort, they put all the sweat, yet they are still poor, yet they can't even meet the standard of living. So even the interest of Gen Zs particularly, it goes beyond just national. And one of the things that I believe strongly technology and media is doing is doing what we call culture shaping.
Okay.
So there was a time that when you go to the north, when you see a northern person, you could just tell that they are northern by the way they dress, by the way they talk. But right now, because one of the things media is exposing everybody, so because what keeps culture together is there's a narrative going on around, there's a quality of knowledge, there's a belief system that is around. So one of the things media is all exposing us to is we are currently having that level of exposure that makes us. So, for instance, you see Northern, they're also dancing their dance. There was a song that dropped recently by I can't even remember, know the song. But there was a time that a song would not trend in house and we all sing it. So those things actually affecting us. That's one. So a common identity is being brought up because right now we're not just in a location. We're not bound. Our quality of thinking is not bound by our location any longer. Number one. Then the quality of our exposure is far beyond our geography too. Yeah. That's number two. Then also, I think a major concern of the Gen Zs particularly is the wealth and of course our finances and economy as for us as individuals basically.
And government is not looking towards that direction in ensuring that wealth is released, to people, whether you are a Gen Z or a millennial or baby boomer or whatever generation you may be. But then now, let's look at, okay, what do you think is the core of nation building?
Okay.
You know, what should we be talking? What should we be looking at? As we speak right now, electoral reform bill is at the National Assembly. And a whole lot is around that, which I would not want us to dabble into right now. But then, what do you think should be our conversation around nation building as we speak?
So, for me, a critical part of national development is education.
Okay.
And when I'm talking about education right now, I'm not just talking about schooling. Of course, schooling is very, very important, but education in the sense that we're talking about enlightening people's mind. I personally don't think that democracy will work in a nation where most of the citizens are uneducated and they are illiterates. Because this is why people can go to the north, or the government can go to the north, and they would ask people to pay. So if you can pay and they can buy your votes, you are not educated. I'm talking about degree, right? I'm talking about you're actually a foolish citizen if you can do that. So, because it takes you to value yourself. What's one of the education? Education brings enlightenment. So, at the very critical foundation of, because when we talk about national development at the end of the day, we talk about raising Nigeria, making Nigeria a better nation, what we are literally saying is let Nigerians go. Let Nigerians grow, I mean. So, for instance, according to the UN, we have over 120 million Nigerians living in what we call multi-dimensional poverty. Over 80 million Nigerians living in abject poverty. The implication of that statistics is that Nigerians are poor. Nigerians are unproductive. So when we say Nigeria is not growing or Nigeria is underdeveloped, it means the people there are underdeveloped. It means that the quality of their thinking is low. It means that the level of their productivity is very, very low. And when we say it's a national matter, it begins as an individual matter. And that's one of the reasons why there's a deep relationship between personal development, there's between economic development. Like the fact that when we say, for instance, Nigeria is growing, the implication of it will be that you are growing. I am growing, you are growing, we are all growing. It means, for instance, the very concentrated part of poverty in Nigeria is towards the north. Why is it like that? The north is not growing because once you can barricade the people's quality of thinking by not giving them quality access to education, what you do is that you affect everything that concerns them. From there, you can manipulate their elections. From there, you can manipulate everything that concerns them. You can give people quality of thinking, like, for instance, I want to talk about almanjuris. They make them believe that they are created to beg. And a person that is thinking, that has quality level of thinking, would not think like that. So at the very bane of national development is that part of education. When I'm talking about education, it's enlightening people's mind so that they can be able to choose a quality of life. And in fact, I always lead this thought when I'm talking about education is, one of the things education does to us is that it opens us up to the opportunities available.
Yeah.
So for instance, I was in a school just coming from here, and I was speaking to the student, and I told them, is anyone here wants to go into cloud computing? Is anyone here wants to become probably just do blockchain technology? Nobody will raise up their hand for that because you don't even know it exists. Some of the things technology or education does to us is it gives us option. The more you know, there are opportunities available, the quality of things that are happening in our society. As education is happening, which is access to quality information.
Yeah.
Access to it generally improves the quality of life of citizens in that nation.
And you know our government is not, are you saying they are not giving us that?
The government, if I commend the government for whatever they are doing, but the truth is that I don't personally think that the government have looked deeply into it. And this is why, for instance, for example, I lead an organization called the Refinery. We already understand that at the very foundation of national development, the role of the government in any nation is to provide what we call enabling environment for the citizens to thrive.
Yeah.
So it means that in more advanced nation, what the government really does is that the government, of course, the building of roads and all those things is to enable the citizens, or what we call the entrepreneurs, to thrive.
Okay.
Meaning that at the end of the day, it is still us that will build the nation by ourselves. So, for instance, I was talking to someone who provides the job at the end of the day.
Okay.
The reason why we are finding it hard to find job is that the government did not lay the foundation for entrepreneurs to thrive. We don't have access to loans to start businesses. We don't have access to quality power supply.
Okay.
And already it's affecting us as individuals. So in going back to what I was saying before, the government has a role, the citizens has a role.
Okay.
So therefore, when the government does not provide the enabling environment, the citizens cannot thrive. But I think, like never before, one of the things I think a lot of young people are saying is that even if the government is not doing anything, we can still take up responsibility and build our nation, basically.
Okay, so what should the citizenry be doing in ensuring that this nation is get built?
Okay, so what should the citizens be doing to ensure this nation is get abused. So in sociology, there's something we call functionalist theory.
Okay.
So, and this explains that the society is an interrelated part. So, for instance, and it's called social institution. We have the religion, we have education, we have the people doing the business. So, and what the people who propose functionalist theory is that one part of the society is having problem, or one institution is having problem, it affects all the institution.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if I'm to look from a citizen's perspective, what they can contribute to national development. Do you know, for instance, if you're a citizen, you grow, you build a business, automatically one or the other, you are providing job opportunity for someone.
Yes.
So, for instance, when we started the organization, we play like joke, we started building, doing this, pushing narratives. By God's grace, just at least I have one or two young people in my organization already that one way or the other we pay salary because it's a business.
Yeah.
I may be young, but for me, that's a big deal already because it means that they are putting their gifts to work. And that is what they are doing because at the end of the day, as I said earlier, the government's role is to provide what we call the enabling environment for you to thrive. So that part of it must always be in your mind that at the end of the day, I'm the one supposed to build this nation. I'm the one supposed to build. I'm the one who's supposed to build the business for other people to come and to provide the job opportunities by taking up that initiative. So if there is a major thing that citizens can do is by getting more into entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Apart from getting more into entrepreneurship, older citizens or citizens who are already thriving, who we call people that we call maybe HNIs, the high network individuals, I think they must be much more responsible. They must have this responsibility that this is my nation. This is my nation, and I must be intentional. Meaning that I think that's why I love one of the things Tony Lumelu is doing. Tony Lumelu's foundation, giving access to capital, giving people the quality of education that produces what they have. So automatically by doing that, generally, by you just being intentional about your neighbor, you are building this nation. Okay, you help this person, you help this person, you help this person. You are contributing your own quota. So I think there is the best analogy I can use for that is when Nehemiah went to build the walls of Jerusalem. He told every man, build your own wall. So it means that there is a level of influence that you have, that if you put it into good use, there's a level of goodwill that you have, no matter your level, that if you put into good use, you're already developing Nigeria because you are contributing your own factor to national development.
I so much appreciate you on your passion for this nation and what you are doing even at your age. But then the question is, how popular is this your push among your peers? How acceptable is this your narratives among your peers?
Whew. So actually, we are just, I thank God that we are just starting out. Okay. So, but I believe strongly that the Gen Zs are the knowledge generation. The knowledge generation. And this is why it's as though they are questioning everything. Yeah. Sometimes the things that they've always believed for, their parents have always believed for years, they are knowledge seekers. And because they are knowledge seekers, and how did I even come into this? Because it is true knowledge seeking. So like never before, I've almost not pitched my idea to whether an elderly person or a young person like myself. And that's where we have a lot of young people in our community that actually committed to what we are doing. Okay. So, and also one of the things we are currently doing, I don't know, I think one of the things we're currently doing is, for instance, between yesterday and today, we reached 5 secondary schools to see how we can partner with the secondary school owners to see how we can bring artificial intelligence education to them, entrepreneurship education to them, so that by the time they are doing their next graduation, the students are not just graduating with an academic certificate. Okay. They have more exposure into the digital world, they have a digital skill, and they are being built with this mentality of, I want to build something. So with that, we are still building momentum, we're gathering momentum, but we are pushing it bit by bit by God's grace.
Yeah, 2027, it's another election cycle.
Yeah, sure.
You know, will you be voting? Have you voted before? What do you have to talk around elections in Nigeria, and how interested are people of your age in voting in this nation, Nigeria?
So I think there is a first problem we have currently in Nigeria, and it's what we call political apathy. Okay. Many Nigerians subconsciously, because I've spoken to a lot of even my parents have spoken to them, and their response when you talk about election is, why should we even vote when our vote will not count? So they feel like...
And someone has said repeatedly on this program that when you say your vote won't count and you decide not to vote, that you don't vote is a vote. That you refuse to vote is a vote to someone. You
True.
get now?
True.
So people saying their vote won't count is not really... I like it to land on your thoughts.
So that automatically, and it's a tone a lot of people have.
Okay.
Because the truth is that this particular system has frustrated a lot of people. So I am of the opinion that we should all become more intentional about the electoral reform that is being pushed. I think I already said that quite a number of electoral reforms that are being pushed here and there. We should all become intentional. I don't think we should give up. Unfortunately, I was speaking to some students like myself. They're actually political science students, and from their tone too, it's as if they're giving up. You're hearing things like, "There's not what do you want to do?" They already know those who will win before the election started. And that's the sound of people that are already hopeless, one. But it's also a sign of people that are uneducated, because in a real democratic society, people will fight for it. I'm not saying go and lay your life down for the nation, but I'm saying that you must have that level of responsibility. This nation cannot continue like this. Automatically, that brings you to, okay, what can we do? What can we do? What can be reformed? And this is why I am really grateful for everyone pushing that electoral reform, because what they are trying to do is to bring a level of accountability. Yeah. At least if a leader enters, let it be that we chose them. Let it be. Don't let it be that...
Not that they are the one that forced themselves
into power. Let it be that we chose them. And that is a very good one. I must say, I must commend everyone at the forefront of the electoral reform, because at the end of the day, as much as the citizens have responsibility in national development, there are many things policies will do. There are many things. There's a lot that leadership will do to this nation. We have a lot of potential. Imagine the number of youths we have. An average person in this nation, over 60% of us, we are very young and vibrant. And the danger of it is that the person that rules us next is so important. And why is it so important? There's something in sociology we call youth bulge. If this youth bulge we have today is not well managed, the human capacity is not well developed, this number of youths that they are vibrant, they have all the capacities, and they are not being equipped properly with all the skills that they need. If that is not done, they will become a threat to the society in the future. Yeah. So even that part of and that's why if there's anyone watching us at home, I'll just say that please don't give up on the electoral processes. It is very, very important, and it's not something that we can actually neglect. There's no choice about it. We have to give all our effort to voting for the right leader. At least don't let it be that you did not vote. Don't let it be that you did not vote.
Whichever way, whether it will count or not.
Yes.
And we are saying that it will count, because you not voting, it's also a vote. So it will count. I think that should be the conversation we should be engaging in right now, because 2027 is almost here.
It's almost here.
Those in political class, they've been, pushing their plans and agendas here and there to ensure that, they find their ways back in. And, every political leader plans for the next election. So they've been planning, even for after 2027 is 2031 or so. They've been planning even before that time. So our own is just to ensure that we get ourselves registered to vote. And
very important.
Okay, on a final note now, what's your opinion on political parties and joining political parties? Okay,
political parties and joining political parties. Before I mention that, I would answer that. There's something I mentioned about economy that I would love to, reinstate, which is very, very key. I made sure one of the things I said that I was going to say when I come here by God's grace. Nigeria as a nation currently, we do not have a very good infrastructure for credit. This is one of the reasons why it looks as though some of the policies that the government is making is not working. In other advanced nations, credit is available. We want to buy card. They don't buy. What we have here is debit card. People buy on credit, and of course, it is a normal thing. Even some of us, even Christians, don't believe it's wrong to buy on credit and all of that. But that's not even the most important thing. The problem, one of the most important reasons why we have economic crisis in Nigeria currently, is that we don't have access to credit. And I'm going to relate it to the last political party, and I'm going to round up, because the truth is that even if we are going to talk about elections and there is high poverty, people will still sell their votes. People will still sell their votes. So to actually address the problem of not selling votes, and not get people to that level, is There are some people right now, if they offer them 20,000 for the next, they say, bring it. And that's because of the level of poverty. And one of the solutions that, because we partnered with, last year, organization partnered with what we call Credit Registry. It's actually the largest credit bureau in Nigeria. Okay. One of the things they're trying to do is to help people understand the importance of credit score. Some people today, they borrow money from OP, they borrow from credit, they won't return it, not knowing that it's affecting their credit score, their credit reputation. In other nations, it is very, in fact, the founder of Credit Registry, Dr. Jamila, she was telling us something. She said that when our husband went abroad, all he needed, because at the point he was very financially down, was to enter a bank and they gave him money that could sustain him for a long while. It's not like that in Nigeria. Because number one, the government has not provided enough infrastructure for credit. Number one. Number two is that many private organizations are not yet looking into that direction. Many businesses will thrive on credit. Number four, they have access to capital. Yeah. Number two is that many people say that want to do business, they would need credit reputation of citizens. So if this part of the economy is big, because it's one of the most important part of the economy, it's only in Africa people don't have access to quality credit. Abroad, if they want to go to school, no matter the quality of school you want to go to, you can have enough credit to go through the school. If you want to start up a business, you have enough credit to go to, so that, because you may not have all the advantage at the beginning of the journey that you need to thrive as an individual. And this is why that credit part is something I said that I was going to make sure I talk about.
I must thank you for mentioning that, because our time is gone on the program. And then I think we still have to, talk about this credit facility and all that, because it's important. True. Just like you mentioned, it helps a lot in building businesses and all that. And people need to know about it. And there is need also for what is called credit score. Credit score,
or
right?
Maybe credit
that you are having good credibility.
Yes, credit reputation.
Credit reputation, I think that's the word. Credit reputation, so that people will be able to okay, you are credit worthy. We can give you money. We can give you loan. Things like that. It's a very good one. So, Samuel Abiola, we want to say thank you. Thank you for your time.
Yes,
God bless you. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
I was asking earlier on joining political parties, but our time will not allow us to go there, because we need to let our people know that one of the ways we can really get involved is by ensuring that you get registered with a political party. Start pushing it from there, one way or the other, one time, sooner or later.
I think lastly, I'll just say this extension. If you're not part of the primary election, you are just playing when it comes to, the political space.
The political space,
so because it is in the primary that the real people have been chosen already. Thank you so much.
Thank you once again.
Yes, it's such a privilege to be on this platform. Thank you so much.
All right, so this is how far we can go on The Citizen today. We'd like to catch up with you again next time. And if you want to catch up with some of our past episodes where a whole lot of educative content are being created and conversations that will better empower you and get you informed, go on our YouTube page. You find all of them there, at DOVETV or Dove Television. My name is Mike Adekunle. I'll see you again next time. Bye for now, and do have a great day.